What is your will, my master?
Hey, good morning, Justin. Quick demo video for you for your KY Sabers Jedi Killer. As you know, I got this done yesterday. I just didn't quite have it in me to make a demo yesterday. I actually took most of yesterday off, but I wanted to finish this up before I went to bed. But we'll go over it real quick. It's installed the Proffie V2. It's got dual crystal chambers. So you got that top crystal from KY Sabers that they put in there. I think that's a resin cast. And then I put a real quartz crystal down here for your secondary. I did not leave the mesh in this guy because when I took this particular piece of mesh out, it was really brittle. It was falling apart. And it just wasn't in good condition. So if I had to put that back in there, it would have caused problems down the road. I went ahead and I left it out. This way you can fully see that crystal when it lights up. CC Sabers in here for your lit PCB. Two button setup. So your top switch here will be your activation. Your back switch will be your auxiliary. How you get to everything is you just want to take this piece, this screw off right here. I'll tighten it down when we put a battery in it. I did take some threads off this guy so that it wouldn't bite down into the chassis. It'll just lock down onto the saber, right? But once you take that off, you can slide the handle right off. And then here's your chassis. I just did some mild weathering on this guy to kind of match the front of the saber. You've got your Proffie board right here. You got a Smuggler's Outpost emblem here that I like to do. This Proffie is a tight snap fit down into the shelf. So when you go to do your config, you don't need to pop the entire thing out, right? You just come over here and pop it up diagonally a little bit to get to your SD card. Do what you need to do, and then snap it back down into place. You will notice that it is a very tight fit, and that's something that I do on purpose. I don't like to use tape or glue if it's something that I can get away with. So on sabers like this, obviously, it's something that I can do. This does have the stock font package on it because you'll be doing your own thing. But I did go through on the first font. I programmed these crystals differently so that you could see everything was wired independently. And I left a copy of the config file that I used on your SD card so you can see what I did there and you can build from that if you want. 28 millimeter Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker, and then you've got a removable battery setup right here, right? So spring side right here. And this guy right here is your chassis retention screw. You can still get an Allen key in there and take it out if you need to, but I did grind a little bit of that off so it didn't interfere with the handle going on and off. After all that, right, let's throw a battery in it. Before I show you that, what the crystals are doing, we'll put the handle on. You had mentioned that there was a little bit of wobbliness in this handle and asked if I could do something about that. That is just the kind of the nature of this saber until you lock down the screw that holds the handle on. If you just try to lock it down with your fingers, you're going to have a little bit of wobbliness. But if you take an Allen key like this and you tighten it down, give it a good snug. That gets rid of all of the wobbliness, so it's a nice and sturdy saber now. I'm going to turn this on real quick and then turn it back off because I have those crystal chambers on a timer. And then this is what I've got the first font doing, right? So you got a heartbeat on the top crystal, and then this one is just kind of pulsing. But I wanted you to see that these are wired independently from each other, and they're also wired independently from the blade. So each sound font takes 3 blade styles. These are on a timer. They'll go off in a second because I talk too much, right? And I'll show you that these go off eventually. But you can see how well both of them are lighting up, and then they timed out. I didn't give you swing on because you have to kind of, there's some stuff involved in putting the saber back together after the battery's on. I'm finding out that these things are going off a lot when I don't want them to. So I didn't give you swing on, but I did give you twist off, right? So you will have to hit the actual switch to turn it on right here. LEDs in there firing up like they should. Nice smooth swing and twist off. And we'll throw a blade in here. This takes a 1-inch diameter neopixel blade. Again, with your blade retention screw that's up here, you can tighten it with your hand. I would suggest using the Allen key though, and it's the same size Allen key as it takes to take your handle off. So, you know, you'll have that tool handy anyway. Flash on flash. Auxiliary back here. These are reacting to the aux button being pressed. And blade lock up. You see that here too. Right here. Super loud. And then when we go to another sound font, all the rest of the sound fonts I just left alone.
Smooth Jedi.
So both of these crystals won't do anything when it's off, and then when you turn them on, they'll match the blade. It's like that. Blue blade, blue crystals, right?
Smooth gray.
Nice fire blade. And that really shows up in your crystal chamber. Just like that. And we'll take the blade out and go over taking the battery out. If you do not want to crank down on the bolt that holds the handle on every time to try to take the wobbliness out of the handle, what you can do, let me take this out real quick. It doesn't take much. It's only a few turns. We'll take this out. What you can do, you can take a little strip of heat tape, put it around here, and try to solve a little bit of that problem, and that will help you from having to crank on this guy so much, and it will stabilize there. I don't like to do stuff like that. I don't like sending sabers out with tape, but it's something like this, right? This is the heat tape I'm referring to. Right? You put a little strip right there or something. It will tighten up that diameter, and this will be a little bit more of a press fit for you. You can try that. But when you take the handle off, come from the positive side of the battery over here by the speaker, and you should be able to pull it out with your finger just like that. And that's pretty much your Jedi killer. Let me know if you got any questions. If not, this guy, I will try to get it out in the mail to you today. All right. Thanks, man.